focus on the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I told my mom, give me a shirt for a video. She gave me this Miami-looking shirt, man. I'm down with it, though. But we have a crazy week, and we need to talk about the false bull, man. If you think that last week was over, I mean, it's not. We have a lot of digestion. Where we go from here at this level right on the S&P, I mean, it is very critical. And now on top of it, we got a bunch of data. You got CPI on Wednesday. You got a bunch of Fed speakers. There's like 4 or 5 of them. Then you got Putin, who is talking tomorrow on May 9th. Then you got a crop report, and then consumer sentiment, PPI, UK data, all of that. And then we have a bunch of plays. I made a future trade. We made a couple on Friday, but it's going to be exciting. So I hope you guys are ready. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you tell your mom that you love her, baby. God bless all, again, God bless all the moms out there. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/TheStockMarket. We will see you there in the morning. And don't forget, today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. This is the random account generator. We need your help. What we ask on this watch list, post a random option, strike price expiration, keep it below $100. We're going to randomly pick one and see the performance. And code 45. I thought the Airbnb was going to hit, but it didn't, so God bless you. That was last week, but we paid out Mr. Shalom last week, so you get $100. If it hits, by the time, if I can make money off it, you going to get paid too. Look, I'm hyped, baby. But as far as what we got this week, again, it is going to be a little bit of digestion from Friday, and I do have a theory. We're going to talk about that, but let's start with what are we going to get all week. So on Wednesday, you are going to get the CPI, and that right there, that will be a catalyst, and that is something you're going to watch for. Thankfully, CPI is expected to go lower. So if anything, this may be a bullish event, but people are expecting that CPI is going to go lower. If you remember last CPI, people were kind of excited. They were like, well, this should be the highest CPI of the year. Chances are it's not going to be that one, but at least for this month, it looks like it will be declining. So that may be good. That is going to be on Wednesday. And then on Tuesday, you're going to get Fed Mester, Fed Bostic, Fed Williams, Fed Waller, and Fed Kashkari. So we got a couple of statements on Friday. It didn't move the market too much, but now I think with this kind of schedule and a little bit of 2-day digestion, these ones may have a way bigger impact. So that is going to be a real big key. And then on Monday, Putin speaking, he is talking about Victory Day. He's not claiming victory over Ukraine. This is like a memorial thing they do for World War II back then when they declared victory. But this is why it's going to be so important. Some people may use this as an opportunity to get one of like the first public speeches from Putin, or where he's going to address people. So what he says could be important. So we are going to keep our eyes out for that. And then you saw this last week. This is going to relate to a lot of the plays. This week is going to be interesting with my theory in line, but you got that monthly crop report on Thursday. So it's the monthly supply demand. They're going to say, this is how much we have. This is how much we're expecting. And you guys remember last month kind of started off a little bit of the early increase that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So keep that one in mind. And then the economic data, it's not going to be too crazy. So those are going to be the main things this week. That's what we're going to be watching for. Now, what do we expect? The false bull. What is going to happen? I have an interesting theory. I'll keep it simple. I think CPI, we're going to bounce. I think that we got two options here. It's either we hit a new low, and this replicates what we saw in 2018, where you hit kind of that final leg. Otherwise, I think we get a little bit more of a bounce here. CPI may fuel that, and then we start to come down a little bit after we digest everything, earnings and all that. And you will have a couple earnings this week like Disney, but pretty much what I'm saying with this false bull, we're going to witness either two things. It's either that's what we saw last week, and then we have to start setting more new lows this week, and we'll see what happens with the CPI. Otherwise, if CPI is kind of expected to moderate, maybe things cool down. What I could see happening is something like this. You guys remember after the first like January drop, and then we kind of hit the lows. It was around like 420, 415, and then it bounced up, and then you saw this like 3-day pop, then it gapped down, stayed there in the middle, and then came up, and then by the next week, 2 weeks later, it started to hit lows. Pretty much if CPI goes good, I wouldn't be surprised to see this play out where we kind of edge a little bit lower here, bounce up into it on CPI, hang out towards the end of the week, maybe gap down, and then coming in next week, it starts to slip up again. But why am I basing this theory off of? Pretty much, I feel like oil and energy may do good this week, and then if CPI isn't that bad, oil and energy kind of distorts the market. We see them bounce, even materials. Some of those companies that were leading at the beginning of the year, you know, they sold off a little bit after earnings. If they could start to come back, then boom, I think that might be the move we might get. So, that being said, I'm going to talk about the plays. It's going to be oil. We're going to talk about that, but at the end of the day now, we need to confirm, was the false bull last week, or do we get one more hint of a CPI rally, and then do we set another new low as we get into summer? And now what do the commodities start to do? But super straightforward. We'll see what any of the data does beyond that, but for the most part, I think the only X factor will probably be the Fed speakers. So let us get into the plays. But as far as the first play, like I'm saying, oil, I think this is going to be a good week. And why do I think that? Last week, this one kind of slipped through, but the U.S. is now beginning to buy oil back again for the reserves. So this is where it gets interesting because, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, literally, the U.S. was a seller of oil, and people have talked about this. They're saying, well, what is this going to do to the price of oil when the U.S. starts buying again to fill up the reserves? Well, now they are a buyer. Now, here's the interesting factor. China is still closed, but what I'm expecting, if you get any good news out of China or down in the next couple of weeks here, if China starts to reopen, that will increase demand for oil, and we may see it take off. But like I'm saying, if CPI is good this week, you know, we've kind of hit the lows. You had some stability on Friday. If we could get some bounce and then oil keeps continuing. Again, Brent was at 115 last week. That could lift up a lot of the market, but even then, with the United States being a buyer, with China potentially coming back and just seeing what we saw last week, and now even the fertilizer crops, all that I think could be bullish. So I'm going to be watching them. As far as plays, there's two. There's one I made, one I didn't make. The one that I did make, I did slash like MCLN22. It's the next month contract, not the current month of oil, but this is a micro oil future. I bought 3 of them. I think I got it in at 108.93, and we got 3 of them. It's a pretty decent size risk. It's like pretty much like every $10 of oil I should, or that it moves up or down, I should make, or 10 or 15 bucks, I'll make like 10,000 or lose $10,000. So pretty big, but we'll see how this one plays out. I like oil. Again, do not trade this if you are not familiar with futures at all, and none of this is a recommendation. But that's the first one. The second one, gonna be Kinder Morgan. I didn't make a play on this one on Friday. I asked you guys for oil plays. I really like how they are. They're a slow mover. They have a lot of value, aka they've been beaten down, and they haven't really broken out like Conoco and all that. We're still holding a couple of those Conocos and Oxys, if you remember that. But KMI, I really like it. I prefer this one with time, but gonna be holding the oil futures. Essentially, why I was hesitant on the oil play since the beginning of last week, they all started going up. It was like EWG 2 weeks ago. Remember, we were like, yeah, we want to average down on it, but if you notice, the weekly premium, just every day, little by little, it kept climbing. That's how it was on oil, so I just figured, might as well go for the future, get the contract, a little less premium, but we'll see what happens. Otherwise, KMI, if those come down, I will be eyeing those this week. I really like that play. Then the second play, Cisco, went over this one on Friday. We grabbed these June contracts. I think it was on Thursday, but I really like it. It covers earnings. We'll see how things play out. Again, if whether we hit new lows or false bulls, CPI rally, I think with earnings, this one could be good. So I'm really liking that coming into this week. And then finally, gonna be watching Disney. They have earnings. Netflix didn't do good. We'll see. They're kind of part of this tech and big mega cap company, so we're going to watch how that one plays out. I will look potentially if CPI could fuel it and we could get a pre-earnings run-up play. That will be the best. And then I do have a couple of runner-ups here. I will be looking at the fertilizer stocks. They did do good on Friday. Remember, Friday was like really, really slow. It didn't move too much, so I really like those. I will also be looking at defensives like LMT. They actually said they're ramping up orders to make like 4,000 more Javelin missiles. Again, Javelina, they love it, but LMT, they had news over that on the weekend, and there was a couple of other, I think, fertilizer plays that got mentioned, but I like them, the defensives, oil, any material plays. We'll see how they play out. Again, like I said, some of them have already been beaten down, but I think this may be a week for FANG 2.0 or everything, but I think those energies and materials might lead. So, super straightforward. We have a lot of exciting stuff. Again, by the middle of this week, I'm sure we're going to say a lot. Remember, last week was very historic. Do not forget, Powell was a big deal. We got to see that digestion and where we go from here. It could be very key, and we still got a little bit of earnings on the side. But you guys enjoy your Mother's Day. Have a wonderful holiday. Get ready for this week. Stay in the game, and you haven't capitulated yet, baby. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, baby. Just gotta keep the peace. Don't quit, and everything comes together, baby. And we got another half of the year for opportunity. But I love you. Have a wonderful Mother's Day, Chad. God bless you, and get ready. I'm excited. I'm praying for you. We already ready, baby. So let's go. God bless you. Good night. Amen.